All right, Shalom. Let me check the feed. All right, we good to go. Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Before I get started with this live lesson, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring. The house of David, the elect, that's pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers, and shalom to the elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakakwadash. All right, and I want to jump into this thing. This is another news and prophecy here. Provocation of nuclear war. The third woe cometh quickly. All right, and nevertheless, jumping into this article here. This is from America's First Report. As the headline it reads, it says sabotage. It says 2 undersea internet cables connecting 4 NATO nations were severed. Now, what I want to show you is that these undersea internet cables is what gives us the internet. All right, which I was already thinking about the famine of the word that's on the way. All right, and crazy times are coming, but pretty much in this video I want to play real fast just to tie it together. This video is from 2 years ago. It says how the internet travels undersea. It says how the internet travels undersea. No matter where you are located, almost all your internet data is transmitted through a hidden network of undersea cables. All right. So as we just saw here, it said that 4 NATO nations' internet cables were severed. All right. So you can see the problems that are going to come from this, So going back, it says no matter where you are located, almost all your internet data is transmitted through a hidden network of undersea cables. In fact, 97% of all internet traffic runs through this hidden infrastructure of thousands of miles of fiber optic cables that zigzag our ocean floors, right? Let's play a little bit.
No matter where you are located, almost all of your internet data is transmitted through a hidden network of undersea cables. In fact, 97% of all internet traffic runs through this hidden infrastructure of thousands of miles of fiber optic cables that zigzag our ocean floors. With our dependence on the internet increasing by the day, modern life is totally reliant on these subaquatic wires. But how do they work? And what is the future of internet communications? Also, how is it possible that your internet connection is almost always there? Don't these cables get destroyed by ships and sharks? In today's video, let us explore the depths and find out how the internet travels across oceans. The idea of transmitting signals through wires by connecting 2 land masses separated by an ocean is not new. The first ever undersea cable was laid in 1850 between Britain and France. Later, in 1958, the Atlantic Ocean was bridged. It is hard to imagine that we are still essentially using the same concept even after 170 years. These undersea cables are laid down by specialized ships called cable layers that hold thousands of miles of coiled cables on their decks. After charting a safe path, avoiding fishing zones, anchoring areas, fault lines, and other potential dangers, these ships navigate the course and slowly uncoil cable onto the ocean surface. Buoys are used to keep the cables floating. Once the operators are satisfied, and the weather is right, they cut the buoys and allow the cables to sink to the ocean floor. Underwater technicians will follow its progress to make sure that the cables do not get tangled and are being laid in the right place. According to the Submarine Cable Map of the World, as of 2021, over 436 subsea cable systems have been laid, crisscrossing all the major oceans and seas. Combined, that's over 800,000 miles of undersea cables operational today. Twice the distance between our Earth and the Moon. But these are obviously not the same types of cables used a century ago. The modern subsea cables on which our wireless world rests.
Hold on 1 second.
Are specifically designed to carry large amounts of data packets over long distances. These cables are.
Bear with me 1 second. I want to make sure. We good to go. Hold on.
Are specifically designed to carry large amounts of data packets over long distances. These cables are rarely much wider than a garden hose, but at their core are many individual fiber optic threads, each carrying billions of bits of information per second. The fiber optics are sheathed in various layers of silicon, plastic, steel wiring, copper, and mylar. The design is optimized to provide insulation to the signal and protect the cable from damage from weather, man-made or natural events, or even wildlife. Yes, you heard that right. Ocean wildlife like sharks gnawing on a cable can cause major damage, and it has happened before to some of Google's cables. So I can't help but think a shark eating through cables would be a better game than Chrome's jumping dinosaur. Although by far, the most common cause of cable damage is accidental human activities, such as fishing vessels or ships dragging their anchors along the ocean beds. Damage to these cables can be caused by intentional human activity as well, like sabotage during times of conflict, or by transnational terrorism activities.
Boom. And that's the point right there. All right. Everything he said that could happen to these under ocean cables, So let's read this a little bit again. And as he said, sabotage, right? Sabotage, 2 undersea internet cables connecting 4 NATO nations were severed, right? It says many in the international community are claiming sabotage as the only viable explanation for 2 fiber optic internet cables in the Baltic Sea being severed less than 24 hours apart. It says fingers are being pointed at Russia. Okay. Fingers are being pointed at Russia as one of the cables connected NATO nations Germany and Finland. The latter was allowed entry into NATO despite Russia's objections last year. It says we are deeply concerned about the severed undersea cable connecting Finland and Germany in the Baltic Sea. These 2 countries said in the joint statement, quote, the fact that such an incident immediately raises suspicions of intentional damage speaks volumes about the validity of our times. All right. Pretty much everybody's vulnerable. Okay. It says the other cable that appears to have been severed connected NATO nations, Lithuania and Sweden, which joined the alliance this year. So the point is, is that these cables, right, they're responsible for pretty much the majority of the internet infrastructure, right? So, pretty much this is all acts of war. Now, what can come out of this thing, as they've been speaking about early on the months before, you're talking about blackouts on the power grid, man. Okay, cyber attacks, no internet, man. And remember what happened when certain internet platforms went down for like 24 hours or whatever the case was, Instagram, YouTube, for example, and people were bugging out, but this is pretty much how, this internet is what's used to make the world go around, so to speak. So if anything interrupts the, the power grid or whatever the case is, it's going to cause a world of trouble. Right. But I was thinking about the famine of the word real quick. That's Amos, because these are the times that we're in. All right. The provocation of war. All right. This is Amos 8:11. It says, behold, the days come, save the Lord. Power Yahweh Bashim Shah, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah. All right. And this is why we've been warning you Israelites, you Jakes out there, to get all you can from the videos. All right, get all the edification you can, because, as prophecy stated, there's a limitation, to hearing the words of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Time is running short. Sirach 5:7, it tells us to make no tarrying, to come back to the Lord, before that day of vengeance consumes you. Roughly paraphrasing, but it says, behold, the days come, save the Lord, power Yahweh Shemel Shah, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shah. It says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, and shall not find it, right? Because the Lord is about to remove his spirit, his word. Okay. Things are happening behind the scenes, while everybody's distracted. Okay, with the madness, you have fucking Jake Paul, all right, who's a Amalekite, Tyson, that was just a bunch of bullshit. It's just a lot of things that's keeping people's minds attention away from what really matters, right? But back in Amos 8:12, it says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, and shall not find it. You see that? So this is a very serious matter. All right. The warnings are going out every day from the men of the Lord, the men of Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right. Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, the Lord said, give them warning from me. All right. But who shall how the scripture say, who shall believe our report? Who's listening? It says, verse 13, in that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst, all right? Because there's going to be a lack of the true living water soon to come, all right? The words of Yahweh Shemel Shai. So anyway, I want to add on some more here. So now we understand, based off this video, real quick, about how the underwater cables connect the whole, internet infrastructure around the world, all right? We're hearing about the sabotage of the 4 of the NATO nations. Cables were severed, right? So here's some more information just to add on. Okay, it goes a little bit more into it here. And this is about 7 hours ago. So check this out. All right, all acts of war.
Even as tensions between Russia and the West teeter on the brink of nuclear escalation, a hybrid warfare campaign is already underway, specifically under the sea. 2 undersea internet cables in the Baltic Sea have mysteriously been severed within 2 days. In fact, Germany has already labeled this incident as sabotage, while US allies point fingers at Russia for the disruption of the cables that connect 2 NATO countries. Who is behind this? We don't know for sure. However, the sabotage of the Baltic cables has become the latest flashpoint in the ongoing conflict between Russia and the NATO. Let's get to the details. According to telecommunications company Telia Lithuania, a communications cable between Lithuania and Sweden was cut on Sunday morning at around 10 a.m. local time. The company's monitoring systems could tell there was a cut because of the traffic disruption. In fact, they said that the cause was likely physical damage to the cable itself. Speaking to news outlets, the company confirmed that the internet traffic disruption was not caused by equipment failure, but by physical damage to the fiber optic cable. And then another cable linking Finland and Germany was also disrupted. According to Cinia, the state-controlled Finnish company that runs the link, the Sea Lion cable, which is the only direct connection of its kind between Finland and Central Europe, by the way, was severed. And this particular cable spans nearly 1,200 kilometers alongside other key pieces of infrastructure.
Yeah, so like I said, these are acts of war. Because look, by this happening, this interrupted, crucial forms of communication.
Including gas pipelines and power cables. So what or who damaged the cable? How exactly did this even happen? It's unclear. What exactly caused the fault in the Sea Lion cable is still being investigated, so we have to wait for that answer. A physical inspection has not yet been conducted, but you see, the sudden outage implied that the cable was cut by an outside force. The area that was disrupted along the Finnish-German cable is roughly 60 to 65 miles away from the Lithuanian-Swedish cable that was cut. Incidentally, the two incidents came as two of the affected countries, Sweden and Finland, updated their guidance to citizens on how to survive a war. Millions of households in the Nordic countries will be given booklets with instructions on how to prepare for the effects of military conflicts, communications outages, and power cuts. Remember, both Sweden and Finland joined the NATO in the last 2 years, right after Russia-Ukraine war started. In a joint statement on Monday evening, the foreign ministers of Finland and Germany said that they were deeply concerned. They also raised the possibility of hybrid warfare. The joint statement read, and I'm quoting here, the fact that such an incident immediately raises suspicions of intentional damage speaks volumes about the volatility of our times. A thorough investigation is underway. Our European security is not only under threat from Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, but also from hybrid warfare by malicious actors, quote unquote. The incident has once again sparked fears of undersea sabotage. In fact, recently, the US, remember, had warned that it had detected increased Russian military activity around key undersea cables. In the past, US officials have pointed the finger towards Russia for potential sabotage operations on these critical pieces of infrastructure. Russia has, for its part, rubbished Western allegations. Remember last year, US allies Finland and Estonia blamed Russia for an October 2023 incident that damaged an undersea gas pipeline between the two countries. But an investigation later established that a Chinese cargo ship's anchor had been responsible. Further, no one has taken responsibility for the blast that disabled Nord Stream pipelines, which once delivered natural gas from Russia to Germany. 3 out of 4 tubes were damaged.
Yeah, and I did a video on that, man. You know, pretty much America was responsible for blowing up those two pipelines, pipeline 1 and 2. All right. So, you know, these nations haven't forgotten. Okay. So things are definitely hot right now. Okay.
By sabotage in September 2022. Investigative journalist Semur Hesh has pointed the finger at the US and Norway, while several Western newspapers have claimed that a group of Ukrainians carried out the bombing with or without Kiev's knowledge or approval. To stay up to speed with the...
So, yeah, so pretty much that's what's going on, man. It's this little tit for tat shit that's going on right now. You know, you got sanctions, you got proxy wars, you know, you have wars, you know, economic wars, which is all going to lead to the actual major physical war. You see what I'm saying? And as we saw in the video, all right, these nations are preparing their citizens for a military conflict. Okay, that's the spirit that's in the air. All right, bear with me. I want to grab this scripture if it pulls up. Bear with me. Our computer's moving a little slow. Salakia. All right, Lord willing, us up now. All right, so this is Revelation 11 and verse 14. Okay, and the point, Revelation 11 and 14, and it reads, it says, I start at 13, Revelation 11 and 13, it says, in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and that represents Babylon, okay, America. And the 10th part of the city fell, and the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, which that number 7 represents completion. So it's going to be a complete destruction of Babylon. That earthquake is going to be the nuclear destruction. The earthquake was slain of men 7,000. The remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven, right? Because when you read a verse up, you know, it goes into the elect, the remnant being taken up into the cloud, into the heavens by the chariot, being delivered from this destruction, right? But the point, Revelation 11 and 14, the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, that's World War III. All right, so all these things that we're hearing right now, these are the provocations of nuclear war that's going to lead up to the war of all wars. Okay, let's get into that a little bit as well. All right, this is from Redacted. It says, breaking, NATO attacks Russia and defies Trump's call for peace. Putin nuclear response. Redacted. Let's listen to a little bit. they went live earlier, right?
Well, wake up, everybody. Welcome into Redacted on this Tuesday. I'm Clayton Morris.
I'm Natalie Morris.
And on this show, we cover the stories the mainstream media largely ignores, and they seem not to be covering one of the biggest stories in the world right now, which is a major move by President Biden and NATO last night to strike inside the heart of Russia, leading us all into World War III, potentially a nuclear response from Russia. What is President Biden doing, or who are the deep state puppets who are currently running this administration? What are they up to, dragging us all into war?
Yeah, because right after Biden was supposedly leaving office, he gave the sanction to send long range missiles from Ukraine over to Russia. Real quick. Isaiah 9 and 5. Isaiah 9 and verse 5, and it reads, it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." All right, this war that's coming on the earth, okay, is going to be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay, nuclear destruction.
Congressman Keith Self just a short time ago is now drafting articles of impeachment for President Biden to invoke the 25th Amendment to get him out of office. We're going to be joined by the congressman in moments. This is a World War III red alert moment on here on the show.
Right. We're also going to talk about Trump's cabinet appointments and how investigations about them may, in fact, be made public. That's fine. If Matt Gaetz did something, we should all want to see it, but we should all want to see all investigations about our elected representatives. That's something that's being put forth on the House right now. Plus, the State Department using the National Endowment to act as the CIA and using classifications to keep it from the rest of us. That's not a fun story. We have all of that coming up. But first, we're going to talk about the dominoes that are currently falling that are leading us into a war with Russia, a war the American people do not support.
So President Biden is trying to start World War III as we...
Hey, it don't matter. It don't matter if you Americans don't support it, all right? Yahweh Shem Shah supports it, all right? Because it's prophecy, all right? This war with Russia is inevitable, all right? As Isaiah 13 and 4 says, "The noise of a multitude in the mountain, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms and nations gathered together. The Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah of hosts, mustereth the host of the battle." Right, Yahweh Shem Shah is the one that's gathering these nations for this final war that has the spirit of war and destruction in the air. Verse 5, "They come from a far country, which are the missiles from the end of heaven, even the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land." And that's Babylon. All right. It says, verse 6, "How ye, for the day of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah is at hand, and it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty." And this is what the prophets are howling, that are giving that warning. Okay, that this thing is at the doorstep. Jumping down, same chapter, verse 17, "Babylon will fall to the Medes." Isaiah 13:17, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them." And this is what we're seeing right now. This is what we're hearing in these news reports all around the planet. Okay, this is the will of the Lord. "And I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it." All right, there's no peace negotiations, there's no peace talks, there's no nothing. All right, you're not going to buy them out, none of that. It says, "Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah." Right. So these things are coming to pass as we speak. You see.
To strike inside the heart of Russia, leading us all into World War III, potentially potentially a nuclear response from Russia. What is President Biden doing, or who are the deep state puppets who are currently running this administration? What are they up to, dragging us all into war? Congressman Keith Self, just a short time ago, is now drafting articles of impeachment for President Biden to invoke the 25th Amendment to get him out of office. We're going to be joined by the congressman in moments. This is a World War III red alert moment on here on the show.
Right. We're also going to talk about Trump's cabinet appointments and how investigations about them may, in fact, be made public. That's fine. If Matt Gaetz did something, we should all want to see it, but we should all want to see all investigations about our elected representatives. That's something that's being put forth on the House right now. Plus, the State Department using the National Endowment to act as the CIA and using.
Hold on 1 second, Salakia. Bear with me 1 second. I want to make sure. All right, here we go.
Classifications to keep it from the rest of us. That's not a fun story. We have all of that coming up. But first, we're going to talk about the dominoes that are currently falling that are leading us into war with Russia, a war the American people do not support.
So President Biden.
Why does this thing keep doing that? Salakia. Really want to let this play. Let's try it again.
Be made public. That's fine. If Matt Gaetz did something, we should all want to see it, but we should all want to see all investigations about our elected representatives. That's something that's being put forth on the House right now. Plus, the State Department using the National Endowment to act as the CIA and using classifications to keep it from the rest of us. That's not a fun story. We have all of that coming up. But first, we're going to talk about the dominoes that are currently falling that are leading us into war with Russia, a war the American people do not support.
So President Biden is trying to start World War III as we speak, before he leaves office, it seems, or at least the deep state puppets are actively trying to do this behind the scenes. Congress is now calling for impeachment under the 25th Amendment, hearing from a number of representatives calling for this right now. And Europe is bracing for nuclear war this afternoon. A few hours ago, of course, President Trump pledged to end the war between Russia and Ukraine, called for an immediate cessation of violence. And then within a few short hours after that, President Biden and NATO decided to launch long-range weapons inside of Russia for the very first time. And here was the front page of the New York Post. Ukraine reportedly using long-range missiles, first time to blow up Russian weapons facility, as Putin issues a nuke warning to America. Here was the Wall Street Journal. Ukraine uses U.S.-provided long-range missiles.
Salakia. I don't know why this is acting up. All right, let me get a scripture real quick and we'll go back. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 42. All right, because this is all the Lord. Okay, Isaiah 42 and verse 13. All right, it's Isaiah 42 and verse 13, and it reads, it says, the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. All right, Exodus 15 and what, 2? Exodus 15 and 3. Okay, the Lord is, Yahweh Shemel Shai is a man of war. And he's stirring up that jealousy, that anger, that rage amongst these nations. All right, they're as you see, they're provoking the bear. Okay, Russia, the Medes, Gog and Magog. All right, and the rest of these nations, as the scriptures say, the kings of the east. It says, the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. Verse 14, I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I would destroy and devour at once. I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all the herbs, and I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. And how is the Lord going to do that? Through the nuclear war, through those missiles, man. All right, that blazing heat that's about to devour all of Babylon. You see? Let's go back. Hopefully this video play. Let's go back to it where we stop at. Bear with me.
From Russia, what is President Biden doing, or who are the deep state puppets who are currently running this administration? What are they up to, dragging us all into war? Congressman Keith Self, just a short time ago, is now drafting articles of impeachment for President Biden to invoke the 25th Amendment to get him out of office. We're going to be joined by the congressman in moments. This is a World War III red alert moment on here on the show.
Right. We're also going to talk about Trump's cabinet appointments and how investigations about them may in fact be made public. That's fine. If Matt Gaetz did something, we should all want to see it, but we should all want to see all investigations about our elected representatives. That's something that's being put forth on the House right now. Plus the State Department using the National Endowment to act as the CIA and using classifications to keep it from the rest of us. That's not a fun story. We have all of that coming up. But first, we're going to talk about the dominoes that are currently falling that are leading us into a war with Russia, a war the American people do not support.
So President Biden is trying to start.
Man, this thing is tripping. Guess they don't want me to play it.
World War III as we speak, before he leaves office, it seems, or at least the deep state puppets are actively trying to do this behind the scenes. Congress is now calling for impeachment under the 25th Amendment, hearing from a number of representatives calling for this right now. And Europe is bracing for nuclear war this afternoon. A few hours ago, of course, President Trump pledged to end the war between Russia and Ukraine, called for an immediate cessation of violence. And then within a few short hours after that, President Biden and NATO decided to launch long-range weapons inside of Russia for the very first time. And here was the front page of the New York Post. Ukraine reportedly using long-range missiles, first time to blow up Russian weapons facility as Putin issues a nuke warning to America. Here was the Wall Street Journal. Ukraine uses U.S.-provided long-range missiles in Russia for the first time. And it was almost immediate, like right after President Biden gave the green light to do this, Zelensky and NATO, with the coordination of NATO. Make no mistake, this is not just Ukraine doing this. This is NATO coordination and this attack. And now we have, of course, the move to bring President Biden and remove him from office. That's right, using Article 25, or the 25th Amendment, excuse me, and impeach President Biden. The congressman who's drafting that legislation right now, the articles of impeachment, is Congressman Keith Self from Texas, and he joins us now from Capitol Hill. Congressman, good to see you. Welcome to Redacted. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on this important issue.
Congressman, what prompted you to jump into this and to say we're going to draft articles of impeachment? This is a violation of the Constitution.
Well, I have drafted articles of impeachment. I've sent them to the lead shop. We have language back. But what I'm asking for before I drop these articles is I'm asking for a briefing, because we don't know what the president authorized. We don't know if he put any parameters on it. We don't know if he put any exceptions on it. So that's what I've asked for. And I have energized them with these draft impeachment articles. So I'm looking for them to tell me and to tell the American people, what did you approve? Because you're exactly right. We have outsourced our military decisions to Ukraine. They're not an ally. Yes, we have the agreement from 2014, but this could be an impeachable offense depending on what he said, what he authorized, and what Ukraine is doing.
And of course, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, the authoritarian leader of Ukraine right now, who of course canceled elections, was very fast today to speak out on this and to say, look, we've got a lot more of these weapons. We are ready to use them, sort of gloating really about these U.S. made weapons and saying, threatening Russia, we're about to use more of these. So it is interesting. What did the Biden administration, what authorization did they give him? An unrelenting use of these missiles, or just the 6 that they fired last night?
Well, they have a whole lot more than 6, I guarantee you. but we need to know what he approved. And listen, the reason I am concerned about this is because I spent a whole year on a strategic nuclear watch in the European Command back during the Cold War. I studied the packages that would kill millions of people across the Soviet Union, and they were capable of doing that to us. We do not need to be outsourcing our decisions against a nuclear adversary, which Russia is. Now, I've got it. They don't have nearly our GDP, but they do have a nuclear force. And that's what concerns me. I don't think the people on the Hill are taking this nearly seriously enough. This could be a Cuban Missile Crisis moment, and that's what concerns me. That's why we've got to get to the bottom of exactly what the president authorized, and I am calling for a briefing. I apologize for the noise in the background. I'm in my Capitol office.
Right. So real quick. So pretty much, you know, Russia and the nations that have aligned themselves with Russia already. You know, I was thinking about what Jeremiah 50, right? Let's go there real quick. Jeremiah 50 and verse 41, right? So it says, I'll start up. So this is Jeremiah 50 and verse 40. It says, as Yahweh Shemel Shai overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell there, because Babylon is going to be totally decimated. All right. The point, it says, behold, a people shall come from the north, all right, dealing with Russia, all right, in a great nation, see, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth, right? That's all those nations that are coming together, you know, to wage war with the West, right? Let me jump forward, Jeremiah 51, all right, because you see the once again, you see the prophecies coming together, all right? It's Jeremiah 51, and I want to jump down to verse 24, all right? Jeremiah 51 and verse 24, and it reads 25. Jeremiah 51, verse 25. It says, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai. And Babylon is that destroying mountain, okay? Mountain representing major governments, all right? So America is that destroying mountain. It says, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, which destroyeth all the earth, okay? Babylon is responsible. It says, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks, and I will make thee a burnt mountain. You see that? So Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to take this destroying mountain and turn it into a burnt mountain. All right. Nuclear war. Verse 26. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations, but thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, as I said earlier. All right. Babylon, America is going to be desolate forever. All right. It will no longer exist. It says, verse 27, set you up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, which you can tie the trumpet being blown back to the prophets, man. The warnings that are going out. Okay. The declaration of nuclear war, the standard being raised up, the truth. All right. Set you up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, Babylon, call together against the kingdoms of Arat, all right, which goes back to Turkey. And it says in many, dealing with Armenia, Ashkenaz, Germany, right? And it says, appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as rough caterpillars, right? So the Lord is raising up those military soldiers, okay, for war. All right, the missiles are ready. It says, verse 28, prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes. Who's that? Russia. The captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. All right. Once again, those those nations that made those alliances that are coming together with the king and the Medes, with Gog and Magog, man. All right, to prepare war against Babylon. All right, against the Western hegemony. It says, verse 29, and the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. All right, no survivors. You see, it's getting hot and heavy, man. So let's see if we can play a little bit more. All right, but once again, this is all the provocation of war. Okay, the third woe cometh quickly, right?
They're calling us for votes very shortly. Thank you.
And I absolutely, I know you have to run down to the floor in just moments. Do you think that Speaker Johnson will bring these articles of impeachment to the floor for a vote?
Well, I am waiting to drop them until I get this briefing, because I don't know enough now. This could indeed be an impeachable offense, but frankly, I don't know yet. That's why I'm asking for it. That's why I've drafted the articles, because I want to push them to tell the American people exactly what he did. Because again, I don't want to outsource our potential nuclear war decisions to Ukraine. And remember, President Biden is the only man that has the football next to him, and you have minutes to decide if Russia decides to launch an attack, not hours, minutes to decide if you're going to respond. This is very concerning to me.
Very concerning to all of us watching right now. We are a vehemently anti-war show here at Redacted. And the fact that the president of the United States, after President Trump wins the election, and 24 hours ago calls for an immediate cessation of hostilities in Ukraine, stopping this where it is right now. We want peace. And then a few short hours later, the lame duck president of the United States sanctions an attack inside of Russia. I mean, it seems almost like it rises to the level of treason.
But the reality is that this is Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right, the Lord, he wants war. He doesn't want peace. All right, and this is what you Edomites fail to understand. This is Isaiah 48. All right, Isaiah 48 in verse 22. All right, bear with me. Isaiah 48 verse 22, and it reads, it says, there is no peace, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, unto the wicked. See that? Peace is not the will of the Lord. War is. Okay, this is why the Lord is pulling the strings, so to speak, to provoke these different aspects of war. All right, it's all acts that's leading to war here, man. And it's not going to be stopped. Because you can see a lot of these Edomites, they're just, flabbergasted. They just can't believe that, this is happening. But the scriptures is real, man. Right? And it's all leading to the demise of the Edomite. Scaring the shit out of these people, man. All right? There's no action that can be taken to stop this thing. All right, Trump is not going to do it. It's not going to be no negotiations of peace. There's no nuclear war treaties that can be signed for the de-escalation of nuclear war. None of that madness that you're hearing about. This peace talk shit, the peace and safety. All right, we've been screaming on that for the past few days now. It's not going to happen. All right, this is the tension. This is the buildup that's going to lead to what this prophecy being fulfilled. Okay, the second death.
About this, but frankly,
Shalakia, I didn't have it pulled up. Let's play it back. Shalakia, I thought I had it in the screen.
this could indeed be an impeachable offense, but frankly, I don't know yet. That's why I'm asking for it. That's why I've drafted the articles, because I want to push them to tell the American people exactly what he did. Because again, I don't want to outsource our potential nuclear war decisions to Ukraine. And remember, President Biden is the only man that has the football next to him, and you have minutes to decide if Russia decides to launch an attack. Not hours, minutes to decide if you're going to respond. This is very concerning to me.
Very concerning to all of us watching right now. We are a vehemently anti-war show here at Redacted. And the fact that the president of the United States, after President Trump wins the election, and 24 hours ago calls for an immediate cessation of hostilities in Ukraine, stopping this where it is right now. We want peace. And then a few short hours later, the lame duck president of the United States sanctions an attack inside of Russia. I mean, it seems almost like it rises to the level of treason.
Well, we don't want to make a miscalculation here. I think he's already made one by authorizing this. But miscalculations, when we're talking about nuclear war, are very serious. The consequences could be disastrous. And that's why I am so concerned, because everyone has an opinion about this. But frankly, Ukraine and Russia are the two at war. Once you release the dogs of war, you don't know where they're going. You don't know what Putin is thinking. And I was always taught in the military, in my 25-year career, you don't go with what their intentions or what they say. What are their capabilities? And if we make a serious miscalculation here, Ukraine drags us into World War III. Catastrophic. That's very catastrophic. We have 338 million Americans potentially in harm's way.
What is Europe saying about this? What would Europe?
Yeah, these people are about to get fried. All right. Fried fucking toast. Okay. It's not a game out here, man. This is why, we say, you sincere believers out there, you brothers and sisters, repent, man, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand, man. The destruction is near. We can't put it to you any more plainly. All right. Every day these videos go out, prophecy continues to speak for those who have the ability to hear through the Holy Spirit. All right. This is being made plain upon tables, Jake. All right.
I mean, they seem to be they would be attacked first. And you have support from Germany, from France, from the UK. It seems like it's like a world gone mad right now, Congressman.
Well, frankly, we are hearing unconfirmed reports that both the UK and France are going to authorize their Storm Shadow missiles to be used by Ukraine. Very analogous to our ATACMS, our long-range missiles. So again, if Europe is leading us into World War III, we don't want to outsource that decision. We want to keep it to ourselves, which is why we must know what the president agreed to.
We'll get you out of here on this, Congressman, so you can get down to the floor for these votes. This would mean Kamala Harris, President of the United States. How does that sit with you?
Oh, it doesn't sit well at all. We do not want Kamala Harris, but I want the administration to admit what they did, and I want the House to take action because we need to be stronger. There's got to be an adult in the room on this conversation. And frankly, right now, I think it's got to be the House. It's not whoever's running the government. So I'm simply pushing people to be the adults in the room to say, this is not the direction we want to go.
Yeah. So, what else can we say, man? At the end of the day, it's going down. All right. Time is running short. Okay. So I want to grab a couple more scriptures and then we'll wrap it up. All right. Let's grab, as I quoted it earlier, let's grab that in Sirach. I'm actually going to get it out my sword here. All right. Let's grab that in Sirach, the Sirach 18, right? Bear with me. Let me pull it up. All right. This is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiastes chapter 18 and verse 24. Sirach 18:24 says, think upon the wrath that shall be at the end. All right. What is the wrath that shall be at the end? Nuclear destruction, the second death. All right. Think upon the wrath that shall be at the end and the time of vengeance when he shall turn away his face. So what you're seeing here is the time of the Lord's vengeance. All right. And at that point, there is no more repenting and turning back to the Lord. All right. At that point, it's judgment. Okay. It says, Salakia, it says, I want to jump down. This is, Well, actually, I want to jump up to verse 20. I should have read that first, but this is Sirach 18 and 20. It says, before judgment, examine thyself, and in the day of visitation, thou shalt find mercy, man. So this is the time that we repent, we examine ourselves, and we beg for the mercy of Yahweh Shem Shai, because as we've been pointed out in these lessons, all right, we are that one event away for everything from collapsing. All right, that's going to set this thing in motion, as you've been seeing through prophecy, through the news. All right, everything that's taking place on a global level. All right, so time is most definitely running short. All right, Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 7, straight to the point, it says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, and put not off from day to day. All right, so you Jakes out there that can see this, all right, this is the time that you stop straddling the fence, stop bullshit, man. All right, that you come all the way into this thing, that you allow the Lord to sup with you, man. You know, it says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. All right, so everything, excuse me, everything that we were pretty much going through this lesson in this video, you know, these are all the provocations that's going to lead to that day of war, that day of destruction. All right, it says, in thy security thou should be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. This is what we're talking about here, man. All right, there's no other way we can put this to you. All right, let me get that one in Zephaniah real quick. Excuse me. Let's get that in Zephaniah 1, jumping down. All right, and we'll wrap it up. This is Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 14. It says, the great day of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is near, it is near, and hasteth greatly. All right, that word hasteth, let's pull that up. You know, it says, and hasteth greatly. All right, the time that's coming. All right, hurrying, speedy, swift, hastening, quickly, speedily. All right, you see how fast these prophecies are being activated. They're coming to pass. All right, everything that these Edomites are saying on these podcasts, on these news clips, it just validates the scriptures, man. It authenticates what the prophets of Yahweh Shem Shai have been saying, have been prophesying. It says, Zephaniah 1 and 14, the great day of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is near, it is near, it hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress. All right, as we heard the Edomites talking about, hey, we can't afford this. All right, we have over 300 million, people in America. That'd be a devastating day. All right, it's going to be a great and terrible day, and many are going to perish. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation. Okay, total destruction. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. All right, going back to the elites, okay, because they're being brought down from power. All right, this is the time of their fall. I will bring distress upon men that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. The point, neither shall their silver nor their gold be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. All right, that's what we just saw on the screen. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So what's coming, all right, is going to be swift. All right, it's going to be quick. All right, remember Revelation 18 speaks about how, Babylon is going to be destroyed, under 1 hour, basically. All right. So what the Lord has in store for this place is not going to be long and drawn out. It's going to be fast and sudden and happen suddenly. And this is why people are not prepared for this. Okay. The day of the Lord, as scripture say, the day of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night, man. Okay. That snare is going to fall suddenly upon the sons of men. Ecclesiastes 9 and 12. Right. So once again, hey, you've been warned out there, and I'm going to leave it like that. All right. You know, this is news and prophecy, provocation of nuclear war. The third woe cometh quickly, man. You know, so you can watch the rest of that video on your own from Redacted. I feel like the points were made, man. Right. So, hey, every day is one step closer to this place being taken out completely, man. All right. So I pray that this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close it out by giving all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, and Shalom to the next one. Shalom.